Hi Stitchy friends! I'm Michelle and this is my channel, Penny's Daughter Shares, where I primarily talk about cross stitch. I do add some sewing, quilting, and general crafting sometimes, and it's especially when I'm working on fully finished objects. If you're new today, welcome. Thanks for checking me out. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. I'm so glad to see you again. I want to start today by first saying a heartfelt thank you for all of the love and thoughtful wishes so many of you have sent to me and to my family for us having to say goodbye to our Jasper. It's meant a lot and it's been very helpful. So thank you for anyone that reached out and shared your own stories too. I really appreciate it. And I have continued to focus on stitching. I haven't been at my sewing machine. I haven't been fully finishing anything yet. In fact, I haven't really had many ideas for fully finishing because I've been using my brain space to just focus on stitching itself. It's been bringing me a lot of peace and comfort. And who doesn't need some of that after the holidays, especially the extra we had at our house. So that's where I'm sticking with. I am working on plans for getting a whip parade uploaded to YouTube for you to watch. I am not sure exactly when I'm going to get that done. I'm feeling a little late to the party getting it done, but life is life and I will get to it and I will get it uploaded. So if you want to make sure that you see when that comes up, make sure and subscribe down below and then you hit the bell and it will notify you when I've uploaded a video. And I will for sure have Whip Parade in the title so that you'll be able to tell that that's what it is. I'm also going to do a kit parade because I think that if I did both my whips and my kitted up projects all in one video, it would be extremely long and nobody wants a whole long, it would be really, really long, I promise. I don't know, I'm a little nervous because I feel like I have so many. And I was always a monogamous stitcher. I always only stitched one thing until I finished it and then I moved on. I only would maybe have one or two kind of new projects sort of, in the queue to pick up when I was ready to start a new one. That has changed. So I have lots to share. And like I said, keep a watch for that. It will be coming and hopefully pretty soon. I just have to see, I'm hoping to get a little help from Vivian, hopefully, will help me navigate through all my stuff and try to help me keep it organized as we film a video. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was I've had several comments talking about how fast of a stitcher I am. And I want to promise you, I am not fast. I am not fast, I promise. And how I can best explain it, I think, is I'm going to take a phrase from Liz at Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. And I think she shared it just in her most recent Flosstube. And what she said spoke to my soul. She said, crafting is life. And I couldn't say it any more succinctly or better than that. And so when it seems like I may be stitching really fast, it's just that I've focused on that project and worked on it quite a bit. Like I said, that's what I've been doing. I've been stitching. Like just sitting and stitching, which is my most favorite thing to do, right? But I need to do the other things in order to enjoy the projects to finish them. So I just wanted to reassure you, I am not a fast stitcher. I really don't think so. And I think, I don't want to say I'm purposely slow. That's not the right way to say it. I'm not sure how to say it. But it's really important to me that my stitches are very neat and tidy. That's more important to me than my speed, if that makes sense. And so, you know, I'll tear out a few stitches because one 4 back didn't look that good. And I do a complete stitch at a time. I never do, I don't even know how to say it, but basically where you do a cross stitch all the way across a row and then come back and do the other leg. I've never stitched that way. I'm like not even comfortable stitching that way. So, and I believe that makes you faster too if you can stitch that way. So I'm slow, and please don't think otherwise. The other kind of related question was if I stitch in hand, and I do not. I do not stitch in hand. I do not use the sewing method. I have always used either a hoop, you know, a million years ago, or, you know, later on when my mom and I were stitching, she had found Q-snaps. So they've been around for what, more than 20 years at least. That's my preference is Q-snaps, and I work on mixing and matching like sizes so that I have rectangular ones, and you'll see a whip here in a few minutes that will show a new trick that I figured out or realized, I guess, to help me fit my fabric into a Q-snap. So no on the sewing method, no on stitching in hand, yes to Q-snaps, and no, I am not a fast stitcher. And thank you, Liz, for speaking to my soul and saying crafting is life. I could almost say stitching is life, but I do like to do other things. But right now, stitching is life. All right, just double checking my notes, and we are going to move on to my finishes. So all that being said, I don't feel like I have a lot to share today. Not like I usually do. So hopefully this is still fun. So my first finish, well, it's actually my second finish of 2022, but my kind of, how do I want to say it? Type A personality. Oh my gosh, it's like my brain is going, but I couldn't think of the words. Type A personality, because these have months in them, I need to do January 1st, even though it was my second finish. Which was hard, by the way, anyway, for me to work on February and then come back to January. That, don't even get me started. Okay, so first finish I'm going to show you today is Brenda Gervais, and it is the January WordPlay. I think I can, there you go, not too much glare. And because I've shared these on Instagram, just as a quick side note, I ordered 5 or 6 of these fairly recently from Kitten Stitcher in her online shop. I don't know exactly what is still in stock that she has, but I do know all of Brenda Gervais' patterns are on her site, Country Stitches Online. Although her shop is closed, her online shop is closed down right now. But you can definitely find these if you do a little digging. I'm just trying to help with I found mine at Kitten Stitcher. I know I ordered them in the month of December. I just don't remember exactly when it was. But anyway, if that helps for anyone that's looking for them. So this is my finish for January. I'm stitching all 12 months. I am stitching them all on Picture This Plus 40 count. Ancient is the color. And I used the called for colors on this one with a few exceptions. The white called for Gentle Arts Shaker White. I substituted Anchor White off the spool, and I think it turned out really good. I really like it. And then the other big change I made was his hat and the wheels and the handle to the wagon were called for Gentle Arts Wood Trail, and mine just didn't feel dark enough. And so in my kit for all 12 months, I had Gentle Arts Carriage Black, and that's what I used for his hat, the wheels, and that handle on the wagon. And then the other small change I made was I wanted the berries on the holly to be more red. And again, Gentle Arts Tomato is in my kit called for somewhere else. Well, February for one. And so I just stitched the berries in tomato rather than, I don't remember what it was called for. One of the colors in the wagon. But like I said, I wanted them to be a little more red. So I subbed that out. And that snowman is so cute. And I had stitched the whole snowman and several of these little snowflakes with the shaker white, and I didn't like it. Oh, so I tore it all out. Oh, that was the second time I tore it out. I had, up to about his second button here from the wagon up, stitched in shaker white, and found a mistake, and I had to tear out all of it. And then I stitched the whole thing and it didn't show very good. Just wasn't happy. And so I tore it all out, but I'm really happy I did all that because I think he turned out fantastic. So it's Brenda Gervais, January Wordplay. So my next finish to show you is Brenda Gervais, February Wordplay. Okay, so that's February. And here is my finish. Again, 40 count Ancient from Picture This Plus. I didn't say I stitched 1 over 2 linen threads. And this one I stitched all the called for colors except the white. I substituted Anchor White again. And I think I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to stick with all the way through this series. I need a little brighter white to show up on this Ancient. I don't know. I thought with the modeling and how, it's kind of dark in places that it would show, it just didn't very well. So Anchor White it is. So that is February. And I've not stitched with Buckeye Scarlet before, and I know a lot of people really like it. This little quilt star here is stitched with Buckeye Scarlet. It's so beautiful. I really like that color. So yeah, 2 finishes for 2022 so far. And that's a majority of the stitching I've been doing, to be honest, is those 2. Now the other thing I've pulled out, so I'm gonna move into my whips. And I just have 2 that I'm counting as whips that I've actively kind of worked on since I last talked to you. The first one is Blackbird Designs, Raise a Glass of Cheer. And I'm stitching this with Michelle, and I'll list her below with her Instagram. And because I never get the numbers right. I know I don't. L_907, I think. Is that right, Michelle? Anyway, Michelle and I are stitching this together, and then LuAnn is also stitching it with us. And so I'm excited to see how everyone does with it. Here is my progress. So like I said, I stitch in a Q-snap. So this one is what I've been actively working on. And so I still have it in the Q-snap. I don't leave things stored in Q-snaps if I'm not going to pick them up for a while. But like this one, you know, I worked on it yesterday. And so I just picked it up last night, tucked it in my project bag, already left it in the Q-snap. Right now it's in the Q-snap. So I'm stitching this the fabric is 40 count Brea from Needle and Flax. And I'm gonna say it again, this is, if not my very favorite fabric, it's way high on the list. I know I haven't stitched on everything yet, so we're working on it. But the color of this is fantastic, and her linen, just, I like the feel of it and the size of the holes and everything. So just everything about it. I love it. And as you can see, I think, oh, okay, so that was the fabric. Floss. Excuse me. I'm using the called for everything except for, you can see I started working on it here. So in these there's 2 flower baskets on either side, one on either side. And this part, these 3 like big, the bases of the flowers and these little leaves, called for Old Hickory from Gentle Arts, I believe. And my Old Hickory did not have any green to it at all. In the cover picture, it shows it as a green. And I decided I wanted it to be green. So I substituted Weeks Dye Works Oscar, and I think it looks fantastic. I'm excited to get more of the flower colors in there and see how it looks. So that's the only substitution I made. This here is my last name initial. On the other side will be my first name initial, so there'll be an M. And then I'm gonna hold this a little closer. Hopefully it stays focused. Can you see that I put 22 in this one? The other side will have 20, so 2022. And I recharted that. I don't remember what's in the chart, but I recharted it so that it was 2022. And I think that turned out really good. So I was excited to stitch that since I had, recharted the date. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. So some of the words, I have a little bit of the words, and then I have quite a bit done on this, but I've got to fill in all these flowers. And then there's a number of little eyelet stitches that go, which will be cute. So yeah, so that is Raise a Glass of Cheer from Blackbird Designs. And I know I wanted to show you one other little thing. So I was struggling with keeping my flosses kind of organized and easy to find in my project bags because they just kind of get lost. Because I sort of like wrap them like a bobbin, okay? And I hope no one is gonna freak out when they see this, but this makes me happy and feel organized, okay? So, I don't know, here's some of them for this project. All right, so I just use the cards they come on for the overdyed flosses, and I wrap them around and I can still see the color names and everything. Well, so these cards, they're kind of not get lost in my project bag, but it was just hard to always kind of try to find them. So I just went on Amazon and I bought these little, they're canvas bags with a zipper, right? And you can see how they're fairly small, but I mean, you could fit a lot of floss in there. This is so helpful to me. And I keep my flosses wrapped up and keep them just tucked right in here. And so I can easily find them. Now, like with this one, there's 1, 2, 4, 6 colors, right? And that's in there. And I know a lot of you use like floss drops and stuff. Well, that's not hard to find in your bag, but you have all your flosses, you know, collected together, right? Anyway, this is, like I said, I got these on Amazon. They weren't very expensive. And I also like that they're canvas, a light color, because that makes it easier to look inside, right? And that they're canvas and not like vinyl or plastic, because sometimes stuff can kind of stick together, right? A little bit. So anyway, that's kind of my little thing that I figured out just in December. I don't know. It hasn't been very long, but I got frustrated enough. I'm like, I gotta do something. So my other whip, the only other whip I have that I've actually done work on since I talked to you last, is What Remains from Blackbird Designs. I've had a few people ask me where they can get this chart. This is what my understanding is. Well, first of all, I do know Traditional Stitches in Canada, this was a release for their 20th anniversary and was exclusive just to them. All last year? I don't remember the exact timing, but anyway. And I'm pretty sure that they have sold out of these now, but I'm also pretty sure that I've heard this is going to be a general release coming up fairly soon. So I think that if you just look, you know, watch for it, you could still get a hold of it. You just have to wait a little while. So I am stitching this with a number of people who, unfortunately, we have in common that we've lost our moms. And, but I was asked to join in and stitch it in honor of our moms. And so it's very loose, kind of stitch along that you just stitch on it when you want to stitch on it. You start it when you want to start it. Everyone seems to have kind of picked their day that was important to them. For me, it was December 28th, which is this past 2021 was 24 years since I lost my mom. But I will have a couple people linked below that I've been stitching this with. Ginger is one of them, and Sarah, Sarah on Flosstube is another. And the hashtag we're using is a Mother's Love Sale. Again, I have it linked below or typed out below so that you can see it. And if you want to join us, please do. We've had some more people joining in, and I'm sorry for the reason that you're joining us, but we would love to have everyone who wants to be able to stitch it and enjoy it with us all. And I don't know, I feel like all of us are feeling love and comfort from it and knowing that there's others of us stitching it. So anyway, okay. I'm using the called for colors, and I'm stitching mine on 36 count wheat is the color from Fiber on a Whim. And here's honestly, this is what I think I stitched, these few little bits here. I think that's all I've stitched since I showed you last. So not a lot of progress, but isn't it beautiful? I mean, it's going to be really beautiful. So yeah, so that's my only other whip, and it's pretty teeny tiny, right? All right, so next, what do I want to talk about? I'm looking at my list here. Okay, so I'm getting really close to having 2,022 subscribers, and I hope that by my next regular Flosstube that we can celebrate that. And so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. What my plans are is I am going to have some gifts that I will have available, and that will be part of the celebration. And as a little teaser for you, anyone who wasn't able to get the Kitten Stitcher Advent Calendar, I will have a few items from that I won't stitch, I love, but I know I won't stitch them, and I would like to share them with people that would love to stitch them. So that's my little teaser. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do so below and hit that notification bell, because then you will get notified when that episode comes up and you can hear about it. Let's see. Okay, my other update is often I talk about my collection editions, right? Well, if you remember from my last Flosstube, I talked about that I'm put myself in a spending freeze. And I'm sorry to all the shops out there and designers. I just have so much stuff and so much that I love that I want to get to. I need to stop buying at some point, right? So I am on a spending freeze. I am happy to report I have spent nothing since the beginning of the year. I do have one order out there that I ordered on December 31st, which, by the way, Jeff was teasing me that I was going to have this marathon shopping on the 31st of December to prepare, which was partly true, I guess. I was just trying to pick up a few things to kind of fill in a few little holes and for some ideas I have for full finishes. And it started out that I wasn't going to do any new starts either. And my goal is 90 days, no spending. So at least through the end of March. I may go a little longer than that depending on my timing or how I'm feeling or what I'm working on. We'll see. And like I said, it started, I wasn't going to do any new starts. Well, then I started analyzing what defined a new start for me, because I have a lot of kitted up projects. And when I say kitted up, that means I have the chart and the floss called for mostly set up and ready to go. And then I have and Jeff wants me to make sure and call it this, my fabric library. He likes that terminology. I think it's kind of nice. So I have my fabric library, and so I can pull the kit out and I can choose my fabric and I can start it. Well, I wouldn't consider that technically a new start because I wasn't buying anything at the time to get it started. So you're going to see some new starts in the looser sense of the definition, right? In fact, I think I have a couple I'm going to show you in my plans. But I am doing great. No purchases. And honestly, I've only had one or two temptations. And I'm going to say one of them was Stitch Folk. She posted that she was going to list some bags that she had done a patchwork heart on. And I loved them. But nope. And I don't need the stress of trying to get her bags, because you know if you don't order it within the first minute that they go up live, you don't get one. And I have lots of fabric and I am perfectly capable of making that for myself. So that's what I plan on doing eventually. I will make my own bags out of my own patchwork or whatever. That's that is something else I would like to do for myself during 2022. Let's see. Oh, one more part about that. I didn't watch a lot of Flosstube during December, it was a hard month for us. And I think I told you we watched tons and tons of Hallmark movies. Honestly, they gave our whole house just some comfort that we needed. And so anyway, now the kids went back to school this week. Wait, no, this is the second week. Yes. Anyway, kids went back to school after break, and I started catching up on some floss tubes that I've missed out. And I have also started a list of a few things that I need to buy when my spending freezes up. But the other thing too is, okay, I'm going to keep making this list. I'll have this running list. And maybe when it comes time to go to it, maybe those charts that I fell so much in love with, I may find something else that I love more. And I can shift up the priority and try to get a little bit more of a control over how many things I have started. So, all right. So that catches you up on my finishes, my whips, my hopefully 2022 subscribers celebration, hopefully coming very soon, and my collection editions, which is 0 and that should be great because I'm accomplishing my goal. So I'm just going to go over some plans and starts and we'll be wrapped up. So I showed you raise a glass of cheer. I always want to say cheers to the new year. It's raise a glass of cheer. I am loving stitching on that, and definitely that's going to continue to get some love. I also will probably pick up what remains and at least do a few stitches in it. I don't know. And then maybe I'll pick it up and it'll be like my new focus piece and I'll just spend tons of time on it. I don't know. I just kind of pick up and stitch on what I'm in the mood for, I guess. So those are in my plans. Another thing in my plans is something I started during Mania. I have a 1-day start on it. It is Teresa Kogut, Faith, Hope, Peace, Love. Now let's see if you haven't seen it. Oh, hopefully there's not too much of a glare there. Like I said, I have 1-day start on it. And this honestly was the first sampler I picked up to stitch. Now I think I've completed at least one other sampler. But this is like a really traditional type sampler, and it was for sure the first one I picked up to do. And I just fell in love with the colors of it and the design of it. And there was just something about this man and woman here that made me think of me and Jeff. I don't know. It's hard to explain why, because it was just a feeling. As Laura would say, I just got all hepped up about it and I had to buy it. So like I said, I have 1-day start on it. And I was trying to look at my notes because I haven't looked at it in a little while. I am planning to stitch with all the called for colors. And I am except for, it calls for Weeks Dye Works light khaki. And my light khaki that I got wasn't so light. And I don't know if maybe it was my fabric choice that affected that, but my plan is to substitute DMC Ecru, which I have some of that stitched already, so that's probably gonna stay. And I am stitching this on, excuse me as I read my notes, because like I said, I haven't had this out since May when I started it. excuse me. You get me laughing too hard and I'm gonna start coughing. Like I said, May start for Mania, and it is on 40 count fiber on a whim in the color Affogato. And there is my tiny one-day start. And I don't even know if you can see the color very well of this Affogato. It has like a little pink undertone in it and some green modeling, and it's awesome. It's a really beautiful color, and this sampler is gonna look really great on it. So you might be going, well, so you started it in Mania and you did one day and you have all these other projects, Michelle, why are you getting this out and talking to us about it right now? My friend Michelle, who is Stitching by the Moon on Instagram, she showed this as one of her projects that she wanted to get going on in 2022. And I said, hey, I have that started and I want to stitch on it too. So let's help each other out. And what we decided is both of us, our anniversaries are on the 15th of the month. And so we plan to, at a minimum, stitch on these on the 15th of the month. We're starting that in February because she needed to get hers all kitted up. I needed to work on all these other things I have going. However, my anniversary is the 15th of January. So I plan on Saturday, I will get this out and work on it a little bit, I think. I don't know. I might change my mind that day, but that's my intention. And so I thought I'd share it with you. Now, and then my goal for this is a long-term goal, or for me it is. So I actually want to have this completed and fully finished, so probably in a frame, by October 10th, 2023. So I have almost 2 years, right? Yes. And that will be, you're gonna laugh, it is the 25th anniversary of our first date. But we count that day really important because from that date, that first date, we were inseparable ever since. So we don't like do major celebration, but we always acknowledge it. And I just thought this would be fun to get done to celebrate that particular date because I already have other plans for our 25th anniversary, wedding anniversary, which will be in 2025. So yeah, so anyway, long story about a tiny, tiny start and maybe one day that I'm gonna pick it up. Let's see, the other thing I hope to pull out and work on some more, but I haven't since I showed it to you, is All Bundled Up from Brenda Gervais. Okay. I am stitching this using the called for colors, except I'm going to substitute Anchor White for the white. And I am stitching it on 40 count Brea from Needle and Flax. Just as a reminder, here's my 1 day's worth of work there. So not a lot. And like I said, I've been really into some of these other things, and especially with the word plays, they're kind of small. So it's like, oh, well, I'm really close, I can keep going. Well, they're actually more stitching than you think, I guess, when you look at it, but still, they're fairly small and you can get them done. And so often when I am working on something like that, I can't put it down till it's done. I know I've seen a lot of people that will show whips and they'll have like, literally, they'll say, oh, this is probably an hour's worth of work left. I can only make myself go to bed if I'm that close, if my eyes just won't stay open anymore. Anyway, So that just, it makes me laugh that people can do that, because I don't know how. Maybe someone can teach me, because then maybe I won't be so like laser focused sometimes. Let's see, the other thing I want to work on, and you've seen this. I haven't done any more work on it, but I wanted to show you, I'm going to make a change. So Winter Rose Manor from Brenda Gervais. I am really hoping to get some more stitches in this. I'm stitching this with Leanne. She has 6-pack stitches on Instagram. I'm linking everybody down below, or giving you their names, so then you can go find them on Instagram and give them a follow, because they're fun. So Winter Rose Manor, I am stitching mine on 40 count Brenda's Brew. Brenda's Brew is called for, but I don't remember if 40 count is the count it calls for. But anyway, so that's what this is 40 count Brenda's Brew. I am using the called for colors, and this is stitched in the called for colors. And this is what you saw last time on my Flosstube, and I showed you where I had gotten. The white on here is Roasted Marshmallow from Gentle Arts. Well, I'm going to refer to Liz at Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and she has always shown hers and talked about wanting everything, the white, to be more brighter white, and she always kept talking about marshmallow. And so I thought, well, I must have the color. And I was, when I stitched this, I was like, why isn't it very white? Well, a couple floss tubes ago, she was talking about it, and it dawned on me, I don't know if it was the way she said it, or if I finally paid full attention, or what it was that got my attention. It got my attention finally. She subbed in Classic Colorworks Toasted Marshmallow. And I love how her white stands out. So I am going to make that change. I am going to tear out the white that I have stitched on here and restitch it and go forward. In my order that I placed on December 31st, that has my toasted marshmallow. And so I haven't pulled this back out because I know I want to make that change. And I kind of need to make my change before I can keep going forward, even though, there's plenty of stitching I could be working on, right, in this thing, and it wouldn't affect anything. But just my brain, that's just kind of how it works. Okay. So I'm hoping that order is going to be here tomorrow. That's what tracking says, but it also said I think it was in Dallas still. So we'll see, because usually something from Dallas doesn't make it to Michigan the next day. So like I said, we'll see. Hopefully we'll have it in the next couple days, and then I can pick it up again. And I really want to that's not really a mistake, but fix that, tear it out, get it changed, because then I just feel like I can move forward with it and enjoy it again. And seeing Liz's finish and seeing all these other people working on it, and knowing that Leanne and I are working on it together, it just really, I want to pick it up and work on it. So last thing. I was going to start this on January 10th, but same order. I have a couple pieces of fabric that might work, and it is Blackbird Designs Tender Hearts series, and there's 4 of them. There's 1, 2. I know I've showed these before, so I'm going a little faster than I usually do. 3 and 4. I'm pretty sure you can pretty easily find these still if you like them. I won mine from Jen at Jen's Stitching Niche. She has a Flosstube channel. She has an Etsy shop and an Instagram. All will be linked below. And she was planning to start hers on January 10th, and I was going to stitch along with her. But since I don't have those fabrics that I'm kind of waiting for to see, I have all the called for floss, but I kind of want to see. I do have this fabric, which is 32 count Bunny Mom from xJuDesign. I showed it before. It's beautiful and perfect for this project. Because they used several different fabrics, I would like to have a little variety, and I want to make sure what I have coming is going to work and kind of plan out all 4 of them at once before I actually get started. So that's going to get started in the next couple days. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, and then I already told you I was going to work on a whip parade, excuse me, and a kit parade. Those are also in my plans. So, let's see. That covers everything. Yes, I sleep. Yes, I plan on sleeping. Will I get to everything I showed you? Probably not. But that's what I'm looking at. Oh, no, there's one other thing. I would like to do at least one, maybe a couple FFOs in the near future. We'll see if I'm feeling motivated for it or if I'm really just into the stitching at the moment. So I'm still working on kind of making a schedule for myself or planning out how I want to work my way through things, and so that I'm getting stitching done on things or finishing things. I mean, because quite honestly, I would love to, at the end of 2022, to have, I'm going to say, caught up all of my finishes to be fully finished. Now, will that mean that I will not have any finishes going into 2023 that aren't, fully finished? Probably not. So I have approximately 21 items to fully finish. That's a pretty big goal to get it all done this year and be able to, I want to hopefully continue to fully finish as I keep getting finishes done. Because often I don't know, I feel like I have more excitement about a piece right when I get it finished. So again, it's a goal for 2022. We'll see how I get with it. It's ideas and plans and thoughts, and those are just cross-stitching things. I have one quilt I have started. I have several others that are in the plans to work on. So yeah, I will sleep. I have to sleep. I'm one of those people. Some people that can go on a few hours, not me. So I'm working on it. But I'm going to wrap around to this again. Crafting is life. And so I think that's another goal kind of for 2022. Like 2021, it was like, this whole new everything, finding Flosstube, finding Instagram, finding all these amazing designers, finding this amazing fabric, all the things that I sort of discovered, and like, I want to now 2022, let's work on sort of scheduling and figuring out what works reasonably within plans. Not to say I'm not going to collect some things that I may never do. Yeah, that's part of the fun. But hopefully I can continue to learn kind of what I'm doing, which charts I'm buying that will do that for me, right? That my main intention is just to collect it for now. Maybe I'll pick it up someday, but that means I don't need to kit it right now, right? So I'm working on a lot for 2022, but it's all fun. To me, I like organizing. I love a schedule. So just picking up willy-nilly whatever I feel like stitching on, that's what I kind of have a hard time with. So I would like to get the number of whips pared back. I don't know if that's going to happen in 2022, but we'll see. Yeah, I think that covers everything. So yeah, look, keep watching for my whip parade. It's going to come soon. Okay, my plan, I don't just hope, I'm planning to get it up before my next regular Flosstube, which I plan on those coming on Fridays. So sometime in the next week, I'm hoping to have that whip parade up there. And if I can, I'll have the kit parade up too. If not, that may wait one more week. So those are my plans. We'll see how they work out. I want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really, really appreciate the entire stitching community. And I keep checking my notes because I don't know, to try to keep myself from babbling, and I'm still babbling. So I am going to say, see you next time.